Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
They're referred to as the golden years, those happy-go-lucky times in life where you and hopefully your partner of many, many years finally reaches the light at the end of the tunnel, a time in life where the two of you can now relax on some sandy beach in paradise and just take it all in. The golden years, the point in life where you're retired from a job that you may or may not love too much, a job that occupied 30 to 40 years of your life, a job that was a means to an end that finally got you to these golden years. You may have sacrificed for your children, incurred debt, did without in order to take care of things and save for the future known as retirement. So here you are, and possibly, just possibly, guess what?
Surprise, surprise, surprise!
Not quite so golden, are they?
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, Tony Walker.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do. Them that have it, get more of it. The less they need it, the more they love it. And it sticks to them like glue. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.
Welcome to the Worry-Free Retirement. I am that little man in the sweater vest retirement planning specialist and fiduciary, Tony Walker. And as always in our Louisville studios on this beautiful November 19th, 2019, is America's favorite financial sidekick, Aaron Orander, along with his sidekick, helping produce the show, Megan Murphy. And when Megan actually pays her dues, we're going to mic her up, but she's just got a few more months to go. I think she's still under probation, isn't she? Is she out of probation yet?
Yeah, well, no, she's still got a few preliminary rounds to get through.
Okay,
so.
But she's doing a great job. So, Megan, that's your goal in life, to be mic'd up for the Worry-Free Retirement Radio Show. That's your golden years you got to look forward to, okay? She's already working on the TV show we're getting ready to do. But, yeah, welcome, folks. And, Aaron, by the way, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing good, sir. How about yourself?
Good, good. You know, before we went on, you were laughing, you and Megan, about the script. What did you say, both of you, the first thing that came to your mind when I said the golden years?
Oh, when you talk about the golden years, we both thought of the Golden Girls.
Now, I didn't watch that show a lot. Did you watch that some? Megan, did you watch it?
Oh, Megan said she's seen every episode. I don't think I'm there yet.
Okay, so... But if I do remember, it seemed like, obviously, they were all in what we would call the second half of life. That's
yes.
Safe to say, isn't it, Megan? They were pretty much retired. Were any of them, of the three? Was there three of them, right? Four.
It's four of them. Three of them, and then one of them's mother.
Okay, the mother. That's. I got that. Speaking of that, and I'm not making light of things, folks, but when you meet as many people as I do on a weekly basis, in fact, yesterday in our Louisville offices, I literally had 20 appointments. Did you notice I disappeared and never saw you again, Aaron?
Yeah, I didn't see you after yesterday's meeting.
Yeah, so we had 20 appointments, and I had a couple who is retired now, basically just recently retired, and guess who is living with them right now? You just mentioned it on the Golden Girls. Who was the fourth? No.
Oh, their mother.
Mother.
Yeah, mother-in-law.
And we were talking about my TV show, and the gentleman looked at me. It's his mother-in-law, and he wasn't meaning anything by this, but he said, I tell you what, Tony, if you ever need some good footage of just something funny, just send that camera guy over to our house and just follow us around. It has been a fiasco. So, folks, what we're talking about today, this idea of the golden years, we call it the second half of life. And again, we're not trying to poo-poo the golden years. We're just saying, folks, our philosophy of the Worry-Free Retirement is so different from the financial world. What we believe and what I've seen, and this is my experience in working with so many savers over the years and watching their lives play out. You know, I've done this over 35 years. I've personally documented. I've met with over 15,000 people face to face. Most of those people are nearing retirement, or if they've been clients a long time, they are well into what we call the second half of life. And folks, sometimes these years aren't so golden. Aaron, I remember a client of mine, this was probably, it's been 7 or 8 years ago, worked with she and her husband, both hardworking people, excited about retirement. About a year into retirement, I mean, this is the truth. About a year into retirement, he starts getting dementia. Now, the dementia quickly turns to Alzheimer's. This was such a rapidly spiraling, out of control situation. My dad had Alzheimer's at a young age, so I could relate to this. But she had to put him in a nursing home. He wasn't even 70 years of age yet. And I asked her, I'll call her Martha, I said, Martha, what do you think about this period of time in your life? And she said, well, Tony, they call it the golden years. And here's what I'm discovering, they ain't so golden after all. So folks, what we're trying to help you understand is money is just a commodity. It's just to be used and enjoyed. And if you wait too late, we're talking about monitoring your progress in what we call the second half of life. If you wait too late to use and enjoy this money, I am here to tell you that time is going to pass you by. You see, the purpose of a retirement planning specialist like us is not just to take your money, roll it over and from a 401k and slap it into an annuity or throw it in a managed account. That's just the beginning of retirement planning. The reason, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, we've got Heather Hughes in our fellow fiduciary. We're going to be talking about how we monitor progress. But the reason you have to be really careful in terms of who you entrust your money to for retirement is because what's going to happen is the second half of life. Things will change. Health, between you and your partner, if you live long enough, 99% sure of this one, your health will worsen. Your kids might have to move in. Your grandkids might have to move in. You could have problems with family. You may have a mother or mother-in-law have to move in. And what many people do is they wait way too long in life to use and enjoy the money. This is what we talked about last week with the halftime. Oh, by the way, Aaron, remind me again, I always forget. If somebody wants to listen to the past episodes of the podcast, what's the best way for them to do that if they want to listen to last week's show?
So what they can do is they can go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, okay? And then they're going to scroll down until they see your awesome bobblehead picture. There's an actual picture of the bobblehead. It's going to be on the left-hand side of the screen, or if you're on your mobile, it'll just be in the middle. You can click on that, and that's going to take you straight to our SoundCloud page. Or if you're already on SoundCloud, you can just type in the Worry-Free Retirement, and that'll pull up our page as well.
So type in Worry-Free Retirement, not Tony Walker Financial.
No, type in Worry-Free Retirement, and that's the name of the show. So type in Worry-Free Retirement, and it'll go straight to it.
Oh, and another cool feature we've got a lot of blog posts on the website. So speaking of our website, go to our blog page at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Megan and Aaron and my favorite son-in-law Trey are taking a lot of great pains to put on that website clips of videos, different audio clips, articles, white papers. I mean, there is more information on there. If you're a saver and you're more concerned about the return of your money than on it, go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Check out the blog page. Oh, another thing we got real quick. We'll get into the meat here. We just got a lot of stuff going on. Another thing you can do, which is a really cool feature, you might be sitting there and you've got a minute, you've got your mobile device out and you got a quick question. You may not want to go to the website, you don't even want to call. People love to text now. They love to text. I've noticed that. So you can text us a question, or if you'd like to meet, text us at 502-912-1581. The text is 502-912-1581. Text us your question, or if you'd like to talk to me in person about your situation, we'd love to do that. Okay. So this is the last week of our theme, which is monitor your progress. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the first half. What do you do to monitor your progress to make sure you're on the right track? Last week, halftime, and this week, the second half of life. Now, generally, just to set the stage before we get back here and take a break real quick, to set the stage, the second half of life, usually, it can be a little sooner or a little later, we like to say the second half of life starts at age 70 and a half. 70 and a half is the age that the government requires minimum distribution. So this is a time in life where you're almost kind of forced to start making some decisions with your IRA or 401k, pension, 403b, whatever, and we're here to help you with that. But there's other decisions you have to make. There's other things you have to keep up with. So when we return, while Heather Hughes was in the office in our studios the other day recording some things, we talked about this whole notion of how do we at Tony Walker Financial monitor our clients' progress. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Worry-Free Retirement. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. All right, welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. Before we get into our Monitor Your Progress, sharing with you what Tony Walker Financial does with our own Heather Hughes as she shares a little bit about our work, I have to answer this question. This was a Tony in the Trenches question. Now you might say, what in the world does this question have to do with the second half? Because it involves a 55-year-old. Well, it has everything to do with the second half, because you out there listening who are not yet at the second half, this is things you can do to put your money in perspective so that when you, hopefully, one day get to the second half, you're not going to look back with any regrets and wish that you had used and enjoyed your money while you can. So here it is. It's a 55-year-old. He says, Tony, I've been recently offered a pension buyout from my employer. This amount of money, along with a large 401k that I've managed to save, makes me wonder if I could quit my current job and do something I really want to do. I feel burned out. I also have some debt. Okay, here's the key point, folks, and this is what a retirement planning specialist does. We don't just sit around licking our chops, waiting for you to roll over your 401k so we can make a bunch of money. We're trying to help you figure out how to strategically use and enjoy this money while you can. And many of you have a lot of debt. You have kids in college, you have marriages and weddings coming up that you got to pay for, and you're going to have some real debt issues. And this is a way, what I'm getting ready to answer here, that might be able to help you. So he says, is there any way I can roll this money to you and use it now? Again, he's only 55, and he's heard something about this 10% excise tax because he's under 59 and a half. And here's what I would say to this. There is a way, we know how to do this. It's in the tax code. It's called a 72T. We've done these for years. For me to help this gentleman roll that money over now, handle the lump sum pension, get him extra money now without any tax penalty, and do the things he needs to do for his family now, listen, and we can still show him how he won't run out of money in retirement. So if you're not getting this kind of advice, if you're at halftime and you're trying to plan for money now so that one day when you get to the golden years you won't have any regrets, log on to Tony Walker Financial right now, TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on that Let's Get Started, and let's talk about how you can better use and enjoy and protect your money. All right, we're running out of time here. Let's real quickly go to this interview with Heather. This is a great one. We're going to talk about Monitor Your Progress. Let's set the stage. How do we at Tony Walker Financial help people once they become clients? Okay, Aaron, we ready to roll tape over there? Again,
yep,
pre-recorded with myself and fellow fiduciary Heather Hughes. I'll be right back. Good stuff. Take a listen. So today our topic is kind of the Monitor Your Progress. It's the fifth step of the Worry-Free Retirement and the importance of making sure that your retirement planning specialist is there for you through retirement. You know, it's one thing to retire and roll your 401k over to somebody. I mean, gosh, there's 4,000 advisors in Kentucky alone that would be happy to take your money and put it in an IRA and manage that money. But there's more to managing money than just, you know, investing it somewhere. You're also managing a process, and that's what the Worry-Free Retirement is all about. And with us in the studio, speaking of managers of process, is our very own fellow fiduciary in the Bowling Green office, Heather Hughes. Welcome back again.
Well, thanks for having me back again, Tony.
Yeah, after the last annuity shows we did, you were getting ready to walk out of the door. I said, hey, get back here. You're not done yet. Well, we wanted to, I guess, while we had your time here, again, folks, we do all the radio shows, TV shows in the Louisville office. Heather's in the Bowling Green office, as is really the majority of our staff. You know, we cover a wide range of, we have Louisville, Southern Indiana, Lexington, but Bowling Green, if anybody ever comes to the office in Bowling Green, that's kind of where all the legwork takes place. We have 7 of you. Is there 7 full-time employees there? I think there is now.
I think
7?
there is.
Yeah, because we just hired another.
We have meetings, and I always forget how many chairs we need. So.
Yeah, that's yeah. But what I've tried to do over the years, folks, again, just to highlight Tony Walker Financial, where we're different is, as we've grown, you know, we've got well over 2,000 clients. What I've tried to do, rather than hiring more and more advisors that are out on the streets drumming up more business and possibly creating more chaos and less service, is hire more and more in-house people to service the clients that we're bringing in. And Heather, you've been with me 13 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so speak to this whole issue. We call it the fifth step of our process called monitor your progress. Number one, what is that? When should people give us some ideas? We call them trigger points or trigger events. When do we tend to step into action? So somebody's already retired, they've become a client. Take us through the monitor your progress phase.
Sure. Well, I think the most simple one is, anytime a client wants just to have a review, that's a great time for a monitor your progress. So they just want to kind of go over everything one more time. We're happy to do that. Another trigger point could be retirement. They've maybe invested some of their funds with us, but they're ready to actually flip the switch on retirement and see what that's going to look like for them. So that's always a big major life decision. Are we ready for retirement, or we've made the decision to retire? What's next? Another trigger point, a lot of clients we're seeing are getting inheritance and they don't know what to do with that and not sure, that's a whole different emotional
let's speak to that
point.
Yeah, because we handle all the death claims for our clients and we meet the kids. This whole inheritance issue, and I've often said, I know we're talking about this a lot now with inheritances, but folks, this is the first generation. I'm talking about the people that are, let's say, 70 plus, that are starting to pass away and who actually have money. If you think about the former generation to that, my grandparents, well, they didn't have any money. He had a pension, but usually when people died back then, all their assets died with them. Now, they might leave a farm, but I'm talking about your typical person. But now all these people have 401ks and they've been saving money. So yeah, speak to that. What's going on as we have clients or children of clients who come in and they got this money? What emotionally is going on with them sometimes?
There's lots of mixed emotions. You kind of see the gamut. Some are excited about it. Maybe it's a long lost aunt that they didn't really care much about. And it's like, okay, we've got some cash. What can we do with it? Others, there can be a little bit of guilt or remorse with their inheritance, and they're really not sure what to do with it. A lot of times they don't want to spend it and they want to pass it on to the next generation. So we'll see that as well.
So we can set up, I think, folks, here's the thing. Whether it's an inheritance, you're getting ready to retire. I'm thinking of some of these out loud. A lot of people are starting to downsize. That's a biggie. What do I do? Or if I downsize, what do I do? The proceeds from the current home, should I take on more debt? That's a big issue. We speak to that a little bit about people and their feelings on debt, because you and I were just talking about this. As you get into retirement, the whole mortgage thing.
Yeah. Some people think they can't retire if they've got a mortgage. I think they just don't want that burden on top of them. So, that may factor into if they can retire or if we can help them pay off that mortgage a little bit earlier. So we can do that. Didn't
mean to interrupt you. Last night in the Louisville office, I know you sat in on some appointments while you were up here, but someone came in, and that's what we're trying to figure out to do. They want to go ahead, and they felt guilty about this, but I said, it's okay if you want to do it. We can figure it out. They want to start taking their IRA. Now they're over 60, even while they're still working, because their tax rates are a little lower, and they want to start bleeding that IRA out now. They want us to send them money so they can try to pay off that home in 5 years.
Right.
And here's where the guilt came in. They said, well, Tony, I keep reading articles that you shouldn't pay off your home, that it economically makes sense. And what I've learned, just from working with so many people, and I'm sure you see this too, Heather, but I've just met so many people, a lot of times it is the psychological side. Some people, and if that's you, there's nothing wrong with this, want that house paid off when they hit retirement. And it's a good feeling for them. They don't have any debt.
Right.
So that would be an example, folks. So if you're sitting there right now and you're saying, gosh, I don't know what to do with my 401k. The advisor I have never follows up with me. Or here's what I hear a lot of times, Heather. Well, I go to the advisor and we get our statements out, which I don't understand those anyway, and we kind of talk for a minute about the investments. Do you have any questions? And I'll say, well, no. A lot of them tell me they don't even know what to ask. And I leave, and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. So without that written game plan, which we provide, to me, I think it's just hard to monitor your progress. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They don't know what to monitor.
There you go. It's a good point. So if you're sitting there, and maybe that's you, you're sitting there saying, I don't have an advisor that I feel like they're working in our best interest. We don't have really a process that we go through to monitor our progress, as you just said, Heather. And let's talk about those trigger points again. Let's go over those again. So inheritance, turning 65,
Absolutely.
Social Security questions. We got Lisa that's certified in Social Security planning. That's a biggie.
Well, and that's a nice thing, too, of the way you have staffed, especially the Bowling Green office, because you've hired people that have specialties. So we've got somebody that can help with tax planning. Lisa, as you mentioned, with Social Security. So as those come up, we can look and see, okay, is this the best time to start Social Security? Mm-hmm. So absolutely. And I think the other thing that kind of you touched on when you're mentioning clients meeting with brokers is, just not having that relationship where you can ask, it may seem like a silly question to you, but it's like, can I buy a car? Yeah. Can I do this? And a lot of people really kind of want some validation that it's okay to spend their money.
One more example, because again, folks, I think I had 18 appointments yesterday, so a lot of what we're sharing is what we hear from clients. We're not making this stuff up.
Right.
Had somebody come in yesterday, and I think they're going to move their money over. I haven't shared this with you. They really, and what he said, Tony, you know what's weird about this? I like my broker. They really do. And I looked at the accounts, I said, and you know what? As far as accumulating money, your broker's done a good job. This is not a problem with your broker. What they went through is all of the income planning we're going to do, all the monitor your progress, all the levels of expertise. I said, what's getting ready to happen? This is why you're wanting to move money over to us. It's not necessarily can we outpace your broker and make more money than your broker. That's not what this is about. These people realize that we're there to help them through retirement. And all these different issues they've never had to face, that they will face. It will happen. They're going to have to make all these decisions about Social Security and estate planning and when to draw money out and taxes. Long-term care. And they did go to their broker. In fairness, I said, talk to your broker about these issues. Ask he or she how comfortable they are. And I think the problem is the broker is admitting, this is not my world. I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So folks, if you're sitting there and you're retired or nearing retirement, you really need to consider someone like us, a retirement planning specialist, that can deal in all these facets and be there to monitor your progress, not just when you retire, but as you move through retirement. Give us an opportunity to do that. The best part is there's no cost or obligation to talk or meet. We can do that by phone or in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. All you do is log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and just click on that Let's Get Started, or give us a call at 877-499-9255. That's 877-499-WALK. Well, we'll be right back. I'm going to talk to you about one of the most interesting things that comes up in my practice as I'm working with savers. You're going to want to stay tuned for this. You're listening to The Worry Free Retirement. I'll be right back. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. We care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Welcome back to the Worry Free Retirement. I am Tony Walker, and I've got a question, for the audience, but also for you, Aaron. You ready?
Shoot.
Do you like bacon?
Tony, I don't like bacon. I love bacon. All right. My family, that's our big weekend thing. Breakfast, nice big breakfast. Bacon's always included. Always.
I love bacon.
Yeah.
So you may be riding down the road. I may have even forced you to pull off the road thinking of bacon. Jim Gaffigan, a famous comedian, he has a great skit on bacon. Now, here's a real quick clip of what he has to say about his love for bacon.
Really, the only bad part about bacon is it makes you thirsty for more bacon.
Now, you might be sitting there saying, Tony, whoa, what does bacon have to do with this whole notion of monitoring your progress in the second half of life? Well, I got to tell you a funny story, and I'll make this make sense. Actually, the reason I'm talking about this, heavy on my mind right now, we are now putting the finishing touches. Actually, I just completed the original manuscript just the other day on my 6th book. I won't tell you the title yet, which is due out in the spring of 2020. This is going to be an awesome book. And it's really what we're talking about today. It's more about the philosophy and what I've learned over the last 35 years, and even in my personal life with my family and meeting all of these savers. One of the things I just want to share with people is my perspective on money. And really, while it's my perspective, it's also what I've understood as I've watched the lives of savers play out. And just this notion that, I call it the guilt trip gospel, Aaron, how the financial world, and even we can even talk about churches do this. Everybody seems to want to tell people what to do with their money. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Now you might be saying, well, Tony, that sounds kind of hypocritical. Isn't that what you do on this show? Well, yeah, it's what I do. I'm providing educational opportunities here, but this show is not meant for everybody. That's why a lot of the advice I share is not meant for investors and speculators. They need to tune into a totally different type of format because that's not who we're trying to help. All the information we provide, all the products we sell are geared towards savers, people like my granddad. Now, the reason I bring this up, I don't know where you are personally. Let's assume you're in the second half of life. You're in the golden years. It's too late to go back to work. And let's say, quite frankly, you're kind of like my mom. You know, my parents divorced when I was young. My mom worked hard and tried to make a living and do the best she could for us boys. And now she's obviously way into the second half of life. She's doing great. Aaron, you've met my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was at the recent client dinner still playing piano. Did you hear her play piano?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Great job.
It's amazing. Hadn't played piano in over a year and sat down. Man, you talk about those ivories getting tickled. It was amazing. But anyway, doesn't have a lot of money. Lives in the same house I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. Has never moved. Been in that house since the early 60s. Drives a car that, well, let's say I think it's roadworthy, but this thing is 20 plus years old. The other day I said, Mom, you need some new tires. These tires are fine, Tony. So she's frugal. She's learned to live on very little. So I was up in the Lexington office. I had some appointments in Lexington the other day. By the way, for those of you listening on LAP in Lexington, we're on that radio station. We're on LEX TV in Lexington. I would invite you to give us a call. Be happy to meet with you in Lexington. But anyway, what I did was I spent the night at my mom's house. I had appointments that night, spent the night, had some more appointments that morning. And I woke up as I always do, and she always fixes me breakfast. She's done that since I was a kid. So it's kind of cool. I get up, walk in there. There's the bacon and eggs.
Wait a minute. She gets up before you do?
Well, I get up and she hears me
okay.
rustling around. Yeah, I know nobody usually wakes up.
Nobody wakes up before you.
Guess what time I woke up this morning?
I'm going to say 2:30.
3.
3, okay. I was not that far off. Okay.
I slept in. Had to get ready for
You had to sleep in. You had to get ready.
I'm out to help savers, Aaron. Come on now. There's work to be done here, lad. But anyway, so I get up and I sit down, this beautiful, wonderful 2 fried eggs over easy, 3 crispy pieces of bacon. And Mom seriously looks at me and she goes, I didn't like the bacon we had the last time you were here. And I said, well, I thought it was okay, Mom. She goes, it wasn't very good. She goes, I want you to try this bacon. And I said, oh, okay. Took a bite. She anxiously is watching me eat my bacon. She's not even eating. She's just watching me eat this piece of bacon. And she goes, how is it? I said, it's a Jim Gaffigan. Well, I'll have Jim Gaffigan respond. Yay, bacon! I said, Mom, this is awesome bacon. She goes, it ought to be. I spent $10 on that pound of bacon.
Ooh, big spender. Yeah.
And I thought, no, wait a minute, this is pretty cool. So my mind started racing. At first I thought, no, what is she doing spending $10 on a pound of bacon? She could have done so-and-so with that. But I thought, no, she wanted to enjoy the bacon and she wanted me to enjoy it.
Right.
So folks, that's the point of money. That's the point this book is going to make. And as a retirement planning specialist, this is what I recognize. This is your money. This is not our money. It's not the financial world's money. It's not some financial advisor who's trying to talk you into moving it over as money. This is your money. And I'm telling you, listen closely, this is what I've learned. The goal in life is to find somebody out there, a retirement planning specialist, a fiduciary that cares more about you than they do your money, with the goal of trying to help you use and enjoy, protect what you've got without the fear of running out. And that's what we do at Tony Walker Financial. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, Tony, I don't have a game plan. I don't really have anybody monitor my progress. I don't really hear from anybody anymore since I rolled my money over, and I guess they made a bunch of money on it. Why don't you consider at least talking to me in person? Now, there's 2 ways we can do this. We can simply talk by phone and get a feel for your situation, and I can tell you pretty quickly if I think I can help. Then if it warrants a meeting, I can meet with you in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. That's all I do is meet with people and help them solve financial problems and give them hope, quite frankly, hope that they can use and enjoy this money. So do it now. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Let's get started. Let's talk about your situation and see if we can help you use and enjoy more of your money. Well, this concludes our Monitor Your Progress session. We'll be back next week with more information on the worry-free retirement. But you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.